So next, your shape reveals your purpose in life. Even in the architecture world, they say form follows function. When you tell an architecture you want to build a building, they will ask you, tell me what you want to do with it. What is the function? Then I will build the building, the form around the function. With human beings, he's saying, it's the exact opposite. Function follows form. In other words, if you want to know what you are supposed to do in life, you got to look intently and deeply on how you're wired. He says, this has to do with the fact that you were made unique and you have a purpose. Everyone has a purpose on earth. They can choose to accept it or not. It's their choice. Anybody here have gills? No. So you weren't made to swim underwater without a scuba tank. Anybody here have wings? No. That's why it takes a machine to help you fly. You weren't shaped for those things. You're shaped for other things. Now, so this is what his interpret of Bible is. He says the Bible says repeatedly that God planned every day of your life, even before you were born. You were not an accident. Your parents may have not planned you, but God did. It doesn't matter if they were good parents or bad, or even indifferent parents, or if you have never even seen those parents. God knew that they had just the exact right DNA, 23,000 chromosomes each, that would create you, and God was more interested in making you than he was interested in their parenting skills. Nobody else could make you who you are today. Think about that. And he calls this the SHAPE program. And SHAPE is every single letter means something. Yeah. So that's crazy. So he's saying everybody has a shape, everybody has a purpose, and it's funny because a lot of people didn't believe him. And why didn't they believe him? Because my parents were never there, or my parents were actually dead. So some people didn't even believe that. But he's saying just because you had a terrible or bad or your parents weren't there at all, there was still a plan for you. Just like how every bird has flight. There's a plan for that bird. What? That was a crazy quote. And that also came from the Bible, was Jesus. He said, don't worry because I even feed the birds. You don't even ever have to feed birds. I will feed it myself. I'll take care of these birds myself. And it's funny because people don't feed birds all the time, but they've been here since as long as caveman time, even before, these birds. And it says, are you not more important than they?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like, how much more faith should we have if the birds get food every day? No.
Hold on, I can't hear. I just heard if the bird
There's
something
proof.
every day.
If
There
the
we go.
creator come up with a way for birds to eat every day, and he's saying, how much more important are you than like a human life than a bird's life? Shouldn't we know at the end of the day that there's an abundance of food for us to have as well? And I'm not saying everyone's in that situation, but the plan is that there's enough food to go around for everyone.
And don't worry.
That's the take home, just to not worry.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially these days, we get caught up worrying about a lot of things, worrying about things we cannot control. But yeah, it's saying don't worry. It's in good hands. Things are gonna move forward regardless.
You know what's crazy is there's two types of people. Like, this is fact, at least in the Bible. There was two types of people in the Bible. One was the God, I gotta see it now. And these are the Israelites. God, I gotta see it now. God, I gotta see it now. Now. And they had to see them living really good. They had to see, the land of milk and honey, so to speak, in order to believe God. And God, in at least when the whole Israelites and the whole Moses story, right? He did things in Exodus, the book of Exodus. He did things where you had to depend on God every single day. And one of them is what was called manna. So the story goes, random bread pieces would drop from the sky to feed the Israelites. That was the story. But the in depth was this bread was called manna. And what happens is manna, it only lasts for a day. That's why it was instructed, only eat enough for today. Don't try to store up this manna for a month or a week.
Oh.
So they had to depend on God every single day for this bread to drop down. And it was him showing himself you can trust me. I got you. I'm going to take care of you. But these people had to see more. That manna didn't mean crap to them. They had to see more. They needed more proof, insurance, security. The difference between the Israelites, though, and Jesus in the Bible is Jesus didn't need no proof. He believed all and didn't need no proof to trust and believe in God. Matter of fact, there's a crazy thing. The people even went up to Jesus in the story. And they were like, yo, show us a miracle. Show us a sign. Show us a magic trick to know that we know you're God. And he's like, yo, it's not about miracles. Quit searching for the miracles. And it's think about it. Even if I do this miracle, you're not going to trust me anyway. You need to see more. We need to see more. Need to see more. I wanted to put that out there, DJ. Because I feel like we think on a deep level like that. We don't need to see it to believe it.
Yeah. And I know this isn't a religious podcast, but there's a verse in the Bible that talks about faith. It's now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So it's knowing what you want but also believing it without seeing it. Like, you know, we haven't seen our brains, but we know it's there. And just like when you know something's going to happen, as long as you have that firm belief and faith that it will, most of the time it happens the way that you're seeing in your mind. But I grew up religious. I'm not as religious nowadays. I consider myself more spiritual, just like having an understanding that we all do have some kind of spirit. And that story of the manna, I grew up learning that. I never realized that the bread only lasted one day. So that was something new for me. That was a good takeaway. I never understood it to that point. But I'm happy you could explain it that way. That was pretty helpful. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, context means a lot. Yeah.